I'm interested in learning language since I was in the uni. I've started with learning English and German, and then I got interested more in other languages. Then I've started to learn French, and later on I've started to learn Persian and Italian, and I still got more interested also in other languages. The thing is, as a student, I had much more time to learn language, and I could learn in a more structural way. And in the last years, I realized that it got much more difficult to do it with a full-time job. This also makes me a bit sad. I mean, I don't want to exaggerate it, not so sad, but I find it pity that I can't find time to learn as much as I want to. But on the other side, I'm also aware that I have to work, so I can also afford all the language apps that I use, for example. I find it pity that I can't progress as fast as I would love to do. Since I've started the YouTube channel, I mean, I really enjoy making videos and sharing my experiences and progress and so on, but it also kind of put on me a pressure that I should progress fast so I can show that I could learn all the language that I want to learn. These thoughts then made me tired emotionally. I want to talk about it, how I cope with that, and share some strategies that I use to learn multiple languages as a full-time worker. So for the emotional part, I cope it with the radical acceptance. So it's just easy. I just accepted the fact that I'm not a student anymore. I work full time and I don't have as much time as I had before. And I've just accepted it and then try to find strategies so I can still keep on learning. Maybe not as fast as I wished, but to keep things consistent. I work full time, mostly from 8 to 5, and there are weeks that I can make Feierabend, clock out regularly and punctually, but there are also weeks that I have to be on call duty. So that means I have to be available the whole week, and if necessary that I go to the lab, for example, and then I can't do the activities in the evening, because when I have time, then I just try to get rest and go to bed early, because it might be that I might get a call in the night, and so I try to get enough sleep if I have time in those weeks. So what I want to say is making time slots for learning doesn't work for me because I can't plan it ahead. Instead, I try to bind my daily activities with the language learning activities. What I mean with that, for example, when I get up, I always go to the toilet first. So it's a fixed situation. And when I go to the toilet, then I work on my link for English and German. It doesn't last so long, so for German I listen to the Tagesschau. It's like a news report for it takes about 1 minute. I read it and save the vocabulary. And for English, I read a novel right now, and I also read it on link, so I can save the vocabulary. And it took about 5 minutes, both of them. And thanks to this 5 minutes, for example, I could reach to the half of the novel that I'm reading right now. If I haven't done it, I wouldn't have read anything. I try to see it for myself as a success. So that's one activity that I do on a regular basis, thanks to this daily activity of going to the toilet. And the other one is as I prepare myself for work, as I have my breakfast, then I listen to the news podcasts in different languages. I start with English and German, and I try to then listen to the the language that I'm weak, I find like beginner friendly, intermediate friendly podcasts in my target language, and I listen to then these podcasts. And on my way to work, I ride a bike, so it takes about 15 to 20 minutes. Then I listen to, for example, the Learn French playlist on my podcast app. So I set up a playlist. I put some French podcasts for French learners, and this list updates itself when there are new episodes. The advantage of it is I don't have to look or think about what I'm going to listen to on the way. So I just turn on the playlist without wasting time and just start to listen to it. I mean, in an ideal day, I would love to work on these podcasts, for example, through the transcriptions, then note down the vocabulary and so on, but I don't have time for it. So it will be just consuming like a passive learning, just consuming the podcast material right now. Another activity is when I have to wait on a line, for example, in a supermarket, then I review my flashcards. It's practical because I can use Anki on my mobile. I mean, when I wait on the line, it took maybe just 1 minute, but I can review 3 flashcards. So it's also still a slow progress, but it's still a progress. And another thing, I have a note document on Apple Notes. It's called Unorganized Vocabulary Notes. So in this note sheet, I put everything what I come across and think that it's worth learning or reviewing later on. For example, as I walk on the street, I see a word on a billboard, and a German word that I don't really know, or a phrase. Then I just take a photo of it and put it on the Apple Notes. Or as I talk with a colleague, when I hear he says a sentence, then I realize, this word is new for me. Then I just make a note of it on the Apple Notes. I mean, most of the time it's just I'm writing it, and the reviewing part comes maybe later on after weeks and so on. But it's still, then I know that I've just noted down, it's there, and when I have time later on, I can review it. So it doesn't disappear. That's the advantage of this note. And when I have time, I sit down and go through this note document, and try to put them on the Anki. And when I put them on the Anki, then I delete it from this Apple Notes document. Those are basically the activities that I could find a connection with my daily routine activities. But for example, I would love to spend more time on Bubble. I learn French on Bubble, and when I make a study session, then I learn intensively. I work on every vocabulary and every grammar structure, but I can't do it on a regular basis. I can't do it every day. So maybe at the weekends, if I don't have any other plans, that's one activity that I would also love to do on a regular basis, which I can't do right now. But that's basically how I try to cope with working full time, and also try to find time for my hobby, so basically learning language. Thank you so much if you have watched so far. I would love to also hear your experiences, and if you have other strategies that you would love to share, I would also like to read them on the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.